Part 48. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 472. Jinli thought for a while, and there seemed to be nothing special at home. She nodded and agreed. So she saw that Mother Su was as happy as if she had won some big prize. She even clasped her hands together nervously, grasping and relaxing subconsciously, and said repeatedly, "Then let me take you to see your room. I rearranged it for you in the past few days and added some things. I don't know if you like it or not." She said a few words, then suddenly stopped, as if she was afraid that Jinli would be annoyed. She only looked at her eagerly. Jinli smiled helplessly. "Okay, let's go and see together." Mama Su breathed a sigh of relief. She led Jinli to the room, and Su Hexiang followed. Jinli's new room was large and in a good location. Opening the window, there was a large field of flowers. Inside, as Mother Su said, everything is well prepared. Su Hexiang was still there and said, "This cloakroom is the style I ordered, the bed was chosen by my mother, and the one over there." Jinli listened patiently, and finally said with a smile, "I like it very much, thank you for your hard work." This sentence successfully made Su's mother smile, as if after getting the sentence, all the busy work before was worthwhile and good. When Su's mother left the room, Jinli and Su Hexiang looked at each other. "Mama Su is so enthusiastic," Jinli stuck out her tongue, "I'm not used to it." Su Hexiang had no choice but to sit down beside her. "Mom has tried her best to be natural in front of you, you don't know, when you're not around, she's always talking about you." Jinli was helpless, actually. Su Hexiang interrupted her, "It's nothing real." Jinli raised her eyes, and Su Hexiang looked at her, "I can feel it, and you should be able to feel it too. Mom is happy to do this for you." Jinli was silent. Of course she could feel it. She can even understand the thoughts of Su's father and Su's mother. It was nothing more than feeling that Bai Jinli had suffered more than 20 years ago, and now he wanted to make up for her more. But, the problem is, she's not Bai Jinli. Jinli shook his head. As Lu Zhenjie said, this matter will never be explained. Even if I explain it now, Su's father and Su's mother may not believe it. She sighed somewhat sadly. Seeing her like this, Su Hexiang really didn't quite understand what she was worried about. But ask Jinli, and she refuses to say. She could only say something to divert Jinli's attention. "By the way, Dad asked someone to find out the records of all the newborns in the hospital where we were born. Now everyone has been notified, and the paternity test results will probably be soon. It's about to come out." Jinli looked up at her. When the girl said this, her expression was very calm. Seeing Jinli's gaze, she smiled, "What are you doing looking at me like that? I'm very calm now." After the most frightening few days, she has already thought about it. She is not a child of the Bai family, and the worst possibility has been ruled out. The most likely possibility is that she is the wrong child of some ordinary family. Let everything go. If that family is good, she will have another family of elders. She doesn't care if people don't want to recognize her as a halfway daughter. Su Hexiang said relaxedly, "I now feel that I can face any situation calmly. However, it turns out that people cannot talk too much. 8 more. See you in the morning." The long-term review event was launched, and there are 2 big babies who have not added management to receive the award. Gongza Wuxia and Zidane, remember to add the management button 231-598-8293. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 473. This thing came to fruition very quickly. What happened to Su Hexiang was probably a real hospital negligence. Because most of the families with newborns were very cooperative in doing the paternity test. No problem for all. Except for one person. When calling the Su family over there, there was still some embarrassment in his tone. "Mr. Su, if the client refuses to cooperate, the family will also." "Who is it?" The other side quickly told this side the identity of the person and the family situation of the family. Suhexiang looked at the content on the information and fell silent. Jinli looked at her and felt strange, so she couldn't help but leaned over and took a look. After reading, "Wow," she exclaimed, "this young lady is a ruthless person." On the same day, Jinli and Suhexiang booked a flight to Hangzhou City. That's right, it's on the information, where the girl who might have changed her identity with Suhexiang is located. When they arrived in Hangzhou, they followed the address on the information and found the place. This is the central business district of Hangzhou City, where every inch of land is expensive. In front of Jinli and Suhexiang, the high-end KTV called Sweet Enemy occupied the entire 3 floors of the commercial building. Jinli cast a concealment spell on the two of them, so no one paid attention to them along the way. Suhexiang didn't know why, so she thought it was because the hat she wore today was extra low-key. The two arrived at the front desk. It was still daytime and it was not the peak period of business. A few colleagues happened to have something to do and left for the time being. Only the 2 handsome guys at the front desk had time to chat. "Excuse me, is your boss here?" Jinli asked. "This sound is a bit nice." The little brother quickly raised his head, only to see a little white and delicate chin under the brim of his hat. The little brother blushed a little inexplicably, and said softly, "Our boss usually doesn't see customers." "That's it?" Jinli raised her head, revealing her entire face under the brim of her hat. She smiled sweetly at her little brother. "We have a very important matter with the boss, can the handsome guy be accommodating?" Jinli knew that human men like to be called handsome guys. "Little brother, made me dead." He stared blankly at Jinli, losing the instinct to speak. The other little brother didn't know what happened, so he took 2 steps here. "What's the matter? There are guests, why?" His words also stopped. He also stared at Jinli in a daze, and after about 2 seconds, he shook his head violently and said something earth-shattering. Jinli. Kind of bad. Some people have already looked towards the side with dissatisfaction." Jinli quickly lowered her head and pulled Suhexiang to hide. She hushed at the 2 of them. "Susu and I have something to do with your boss today, so don't tell it, okay?" "Susu." The 2 little brothers were startled, just as Suhexiang raised his head. The 2 of them said in their hearts. Seeing 2 goddesses die at once without any regrets. What did the goddess say just now? Want to meet the boss? No problem. You said the boss doesn't see anyone? Brother, no matter what the goddess wants to go, I must take her there, even if I get fired in the next second, I will be worth it. The eyes of the 2 met, and they were very tit for tat for a second. In the end, the little brother on the left won the qualification to lead the 2 goddesses to meet the boss. Jinli thanked the 2 of them and followed the little brother upstairs. The 2 girls who had just gone to make coffee came back, and what they saw was a salted fish paralyzed on a chair, as if they had lost their entire life. "Girl. Sorry, there is only 1 chapter this morning, I really can't write today. Get up early tomorrow morning to write, there will definitely be an update before 12 o'clock noon, love me again. Cover the pot." You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 474. The girl was startled, handed him the coffee, and asked, "What's wrong with you? I just made coffee, and you became like this." The little brother looked at her deeply, and sighed, "I just lost a chance to reach the pinnacle of my life." Girl. And the other side. Another little brother led the two upstairs. I also met other guests on the road, but no one noticed that the boy in uniform was followed by two famous goddesses in the entertainment industry. The younger brother's expression was as excited as if he had won $5 million. This kind of feeling that the whole world does not know that only I know this big secret is really great. The little brother led him to the door of a room on the third floor, turned around and looked at the two of them. This is the boss's private suite, and she usually rests here when she is free. Jinli nodded and thanked him. The little brother's face was a little red, and he shook his head quickly when he heard the words, "It's nothing, it's just a matter of raising a finger. If you two need anything else, you can tell me at any time." Jinli thanked him again. The little brother blushed even more, endured it for a while, and finally whispered, "It's okay, just, if it's convenient for you, can you sign me?" Jinli was stunned for a moment, watching a golden light emerge from his little brother and fall on him. It turned out to be my own fan. She smiled, "It's okay, but we have something to do now. Can I sign it for you when I get out of here?" The little brother nodded excitedly, and walked away with his feet fluttering. Jinli and Suhexiang looked at each other and lightly pressed the doorbell. No one answered inside. Jinli pressed it again. After a while, someone opened the door. A stunning face appeared in front of the two of them. Even Jinli's eyes lit up. The woman was taken aback when she saw Jinli. Very few people would fail to recognize this beautiful face that was famous in the entertainment industry. She glanced at Jinli hesitantly. "You are Jinli?" Jinli nodded with a smile. Then, Suhexiang also raised her head. "Miss Yu, hello." 2 minutes later, all three sat in the room. "There is a waiting room here." Yu Manluo poured tea for the two of them, and sat lazily on the sofa by herself. "Two big stars, come to my small place, what's the matter?" She doesn't have the subconscious sense of nervousness and awkwardness that ordinary people feel when they see a star. Jinli looked at her without blinking. In all fairness, Yu Manluo is not a woman with stunning facial features. In terms of appearance alone, she could only be considered above average, and Suhexiang was a beauty that could be counted in the entire entertainment industry, not to mention Jinli herself. But Jinli was sure that a woman like Yu Manluo would never be overshadowed by anyone. Ordinary people will not focus on her face when they see her at the first sight, but on her style. The kind of deep-rooted, from the inside to the outside, reveals the whole person, lazy and seductive, full of coquettishness. There are gods in heaven who specialize in fenjiudeo, both men and women. Jinli has seen it before, and it is true that every frown and smile is full of desire, and every move and eye lift is captivating. But that's all acquired practice. For an ordinary person like Yu Manluo to be able to do this, it can only be said that he is extremely talented. Yu Manluo rolled her eyes and saw Jinli's eyes. "Miss Jinli, what are you looking at?" "The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess." Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 475. "Look at you," Jinli replied honestly. Yu Manluo laughed. "Her smile is also different from others, it's that kind, how should I put it?" Jinli thought about it with her small brain, and felt that if she was a man, seeing such a smile would probably make her unsteady and hold on. "Can't live." "Then do I look good?" Yu Manluo asked her. Jinli nodded again. "It looks good." Yu Manluo's smile was even more touching. "It's really an honor to be praised by the top beauties in the entertainment circle." After the greetings were over, Yu Manluo finally asked why the two of them came. This time it was Suhexiang who spoke. "It's like this, Msu." Suhexiang looked at her. "In the past few days, the hospital in Yunyang should have called you. Back then, there was a newborn miscarriage." The smile on Yu Manluo's face faded a little. She sat up straight, and the close-fitting wine-red dress outlined a slender figure. "So that's why the two of you came here." She glanced at the two of them, and finally fell on Jinli's face. I heard that Miss Jinli was adopted since she was a child, so it was you who treated me well. Do you have any questions about your life experience? No, it's me, Su Hexiang said calmly. Yu Manluo was taken aback. She looked at Su Hexiang, a little puzzled, who didn't know that Su Hexiang was the daughter of a noble family, the real eldest lady of a famous family. What does she mean by this sentence? Su Hexiang didn't intend to tell others about the Su family's affairs. She just said, "My biological parents are very likely your parents." Yu Manluo was really surprised. After the surprise was over, she sneered again, "So, is there such a possibility? But Miss Su, if you still have any expectations for family affection, I suggest that you don't need to continue." Checked. Su Hexiang and Jinli glanced at each other. Both of them had seen Yu Manluo's profile. It seemed that her relationship with her family was not very good. But the phrase bad relationship obviously cannot fully explain these things. Su Hexiang thought for a while and said, "Thank you, Miss Yu, for your kindness. However, I'm here just to know a fact. As for family affection," she smiled, "Mom and Dad have given me the best love in the world, and I have already been content." Yu Manluo looked at Su Hexiang inquiringly, and then smiled after a while. "Okay, I didn't really want to mention the Yu family, but I think you two are very pleasing to the eye. If you want to ask, I will just tell you." She was such an arrogant woman. In front of Jinli and Su Hexiang, she was extremely arrogant when she said, "I think you are pleasing to the eye." However, she is a person who does not make people disgusted when she says such words. Jinli thought about it again, and felt that if he was a man, he would probably not be able to hold on to such a wild, difficult, and charming beauty. Before the official speech, Yu Manluo asked again, "Do you two mind if I smoke?" Jinli didn't care much, she didn't even have a problem not breathing. Su Hexiang doesn't like it very much, but this is his territory, and she came here to ask for help from others. She also remained silent. Yu Manluo glanced at her, and she could probably tell that the girl didn't like it that much. But she doesn't seem to care about other people's feelings so much. She lit herself a cigarette. The body of the cigarette is white, and it is held between the fingers of the whiter slender fingers. At the end of the fingers, black nail polish is applied, and on the nails there is an enchanting tumi flower. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 476. Gray smoke curled up, blurring Yu Manluo's face. "Actually, that family has nothing to say," she sneered. "I never knew what family affection is since I was a child," Yu Manluo said. "She is the first child of her parents. Logically speaking, she should be pampered. But when she was born, the whole family was disappointed. Because she is not a son. And her parents, because of work, are not allowed to have a second child. The sentence that impressed her most when she was a child was, 'Why isn't she a son?' It is also ironic to say that a man who came out of a poor mountain valley has received a high-end and trendy education in his body, but he still retains the remnants of the last century in his roots. The son is the root of their old family. If he doesn't have a son, he will die in the future, and no one will take care of him, and no one will visit his grave. He will become a lonely ghost." Because of this, Yu Manluo was sent to her uncle's house right after she was born, and she was declared to be the uncle's daughter. The uncle has 2 daughters and a son, and the family was punished to be impoverished in order to give birth to a son. Even so, they insisted on having 3 children. Yu Manluo suspected that if the 3rd child was a daughter, the uncle's family would not hesitate to have a 4th child. Jinli and Su Hexiang looked at each other. They had never seen such a situation, and if they hadn't heard about it from Yu Manluo, they would never even have imagined that such a thing would happen. Even by Yuanjun and his wife, they are the best people, but they don't have any obsession with their son and daughter. Seeing their expressions, Yu Manluo smiled, "It's incredible. The two nodded. Yumanluo blew out a smoke ring. Where is this going? If you want to listen, please continue to listen to me. How could her uncle's family be kind to her daughter? My own daughters are always used as second-class people, let alone other people's daughters. Her parents left her alone at her uncle's house and gave her uncle some money every year, which was considered a little bit of nurturing grace. Yumanluo didn't know this. Before she was 14 years old, she really thought she was her uncle's daughter. She also spent 14 poor years at home. She saw that her eldest sister married a man with a disabled leg in a neighboring village because their family paid a lot of bride price. The eldest aunt counted the dowry money with a happy face, and said plausibly, "From now on, all this money will be reserved for Brother June to beg for his wife." Brother June is the only meow meow of the eldest aunt's family, her cousin Yu June. She only remembered her brother June, and she never thought about whether her daughter would be able to live well if she was sold to that kind of family. Yumanluo didn't go to junior high school, so she worked at home after finishing elementary school. The reason was what her aunt said: girls are born at home, and they are going to marry anyway. What's the use of spending so much money on studying? It's not cheap in the end. Someone else. She endured all these. Until she was 14 years old, she was told by her aunt that she would find someone to marry her. 14-year-old Yumanluo ran away from home for the first time. Of course it didn't work. Got caught. He was tied up with a rope and severely whipped with bamboo sticks. The eldest aunt called someone, and she was cursing on the phone. On the third day, she saw a pair of glamorous men and women. Those were her biological parents. She was brought back to the city by her parents. Only then did she know that her mother was her eldest aunt, and that the uncle and aunt who had never met before were her parents. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 477. Her parents bought her beautiful dresses and sent her to school, just a little bit, and claimed to be the daughter of her brother's family. They also have a 10-year-old son who is in school. Yumanluo didn't think there was anything wrong. She even once thought that she had arrived in heaven. She thought her nightmare was over and good days were coming. She didn't go to school. Everything in the city was strange and frightening to her, and she couldn't keep up with her studies at all. She can't tell people these things. Every time she feels uncomfortable and wants to talk to her mother, that delicate and elegant woman always interrupts her and looks at her with a look of, "Why are you so ignorant? Mom is very busy, and I have spent money for you to make money. I'm very tired. You can solve this kind of trivial matter by yourself, okay?" Of course I can only say yes. But obviously, this woman spends most of her daily life going out shopping with the wives, playing mahjong, and doing beauty treatments. Moreover, she has time every day to help her brother with his homework, and to accompany him to the playground during holidays. And her father, every time he looked at her report card, looked at her with disappointed eyes. "How can I have such a stupid daughter as you?" Both Jinli and Suhexiang felt a little uncomfortable hearing that. Yumanluo stubbed out the cigarette, saw the expressions of the two of them, and said with a smile, "Why, feel bad for me?" Jinli nodded. Yumanluo laughed. What a naive little girl. She is obviously the same age as them, but both her temperament and her tone have changed too much. "You don't have to feel sorry for me. I'm not a good person and I don't deserve sympathy," Yumanluo said. In order to keep up with the progress of her studies, and not to disappoint her parents and be ridiculed by others, the little girl only sleeps for 3 hours every night, studying like a robot. Finally, she gradually became like a city girl, and her academic performance improved. She was very happy, and felt that she was finally not holding back. In this way, Mom and Dad would like me a little bit, right? Not at all. The younger brother was admitted to an ordinary high school, and the family happily went to a five-star hotel to have a big meal to celebrate. At the same time, because she went to school late and was at the same level as her 4-year-old brother, she handed her admission letter to her parents at number 1 high school in the provincial capital, and all she got in return was a cold sentence from her mother: "Did you do it on purpose? To make your brother sad?" More than that. Because of her brother's displeasure, the family refused to pay her tuition, and even withheld her notice. Yumanluo didn't know this. She thought she had lost it. She didn't know about it until she missed the registration date and her younger brother boasted about it in front of her. Hard as dead ashes. This year, Yumanluo turned 18. Instead of going to school, she chose to escape from that home and went to another city, namely Hangzhou. She suffered a lot and met a man. He was 9 years older than her and pampered her like a little princess. He taught her many things and made her change from a little white flower to a black lotus. "Manman, you are ruthless and strong enough, no one can hurt you," he leaned close to her ear and said. At that time, Yumanluo still had a little innocence. She always had hope in others. Until Yu's family called her to go home, saying that her father was seriously ill and wanted to see her. Yumanluo has gone. Almost didn't make it back. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 478. Yumanluo's throat is probably due to smoking all the year round. It's a bit smoky, with a touch of husky sexiness. Like a witch in a dark fairy tale, sitting in front of the fireplace, holding a yellowed parchment, telling stories to children. She looked careless, and took out another cigarette, but did not light it. She looked at Su Hexiang. "That family is really disgusting. I have watched your TV series, you are a very good actor, listen to my advice, don't get involved with them, or you will not be able to get rid of them." Jinli sat on the side, looking at Yumanluo with wide eyes, like a reader who had been forcibly broken into chapters after halfway through the chase, and almost couldn't get up in one breath. "So what happened to you later?" she asked anxiously. Yumanluo glanced at her again, with a little warmth in her eyes. "You are indeed as cute as the rumors say, you really don't come from a family like the Bai family." But Jinli's life history was too much trouble. Even if Yumanluo didn't pay attention to the entertainment industry, she always had to go online. As long as you surf the internet, you can't escape the news. In addition, because of such a sense of sympathy, she went to Jinli Weibo to read the full version. Jinli mumbled, "I was never raised by the Bai family." Yumanluo smiled. Later, "That's it?" "I rushed back overnight and found that the man was fine." Jinli. "The truth?" Yumanluo sighed. "My precious brother, his kidneys are failing at a young age, and he wants my own sister to selflessly contribute to saving lives?" Of course Yumanluo didn't want to. She is no longer that silly girl who doesn't know how to think for herself. What kindness does the Yu family have towards her? What kind of sibling relationship is there between her brother and her? Why is it worth her donating a kidney to treat people? Not to mention, Yumanluo's gaze became colder by the inch. "Of course I can't be willing. Then I was locked up at home and overheard those two scumbags discussing that they felt that a kidney was not safe, and wanted me to be more selfless and sacrifice my life to save others, to build a 7-level pagoda." At this point, Yumanluo finally gave up completely. "As I said, I'm not a good person," Yumanluo said lightly. "After I escaped from home, I didn't feel very reconciled. If someone treated me like that, I just ran away and didn't fight back. Wouldn't it be a shame?" Jinli blinked. "So you..." Yumanluo raised her glass and winked at her. "So I spent a lot of thought and money, and found some very secret things. It's as small as the evidence of the second child of the two back then, as big as the evidence of the second child after so many years. The reason why the family is so rich is all sent to the opponents of the Yu family. Jinli stretched out her thumb, it's amazing. Yu Manluo accepted it calmly, thank you. No wonder, the general situation of Yu's family found out by Su's father was that the male owner went in because his hands were not clean and the amount of money involved was too large. It is conservatively estimated that he would have to stay for 10 years. All the assets of the family were frozen, and the only son was bedridden and couldn't get out of the hospital. The mistress sold all the pre-wedding houses under her name to her son to continue her life. As for this daughter who was born in the same year, the same month, and the same day as Su Hexiang, no information was found. Yu Manluo smiled softly, I even found a special time, met my mother, and told her that I did all of this. Seeing how she was so angry and helpless against me, really, it's so refreshing. Today's 6th update. There are 2 more chapters for us, see you in the afternoon or evening. What a mua! The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 479. Jinli and Su Hexiang looked at each other. In fact, in their lives, the deepest understanding of the superior family probably came from the couple of the Bai family. But the couple of the Bai family, even if they are scum, even if they are disgusting, even if they are vicious, they are always good to their children. From Chen Liwa and Bai Yuanjun, at least it can be seen that tiger poison is not a predator. But the Yu family completely broke their understanding. Jinli suddenly sighed, tell me, if Chen Liwa knew that she had put her daughter into such a wolf den after all her efforts, would she regret it? Su Hexiang was also silent for a while. Yu Manluo let out a sigh of relief, her gaze shifted between the two of them, and she smiled half smile, okay, I'm done with my story, what about yours? She fiddled with the cigarette on her fingertips, and paused for a moment, wait a minute, is the Chen Liwa you're talking about Miss Jinli your adoptive mother? What happened when she replaced her own child? Her child, isn't he dead? Having said that, she glanced at the two of them again, thoughtfully, what secrets are hidden here? She can be said to be very frank with the two of them, and she even said things like reporting her own father. This is not because she lacks vigilance, but because she is very clear that these two people can even find out these things from 24 years ago, and they can also find out what she said. Not to mention. Yu Manluo frowned in her heart, reporting something like a scumbag, what's the point of hiding it? Su Hexiang and Jinli looked at each other. In the end, it was Su Hexiang who said, Chen Liwa's child is not dead, she exchanged her own child with my parents' child. Yu Manluo seemed a little surprised. She glanced at Su Hexiang and then at Jinli beside her, thinking that this development was quite exciting. But even more exciting is yet to come. Su Hexiang told about Chen Liwa's child changing. Yu Manluo. After being silent for 2 seconds, she sighed faintly, so, after I experienced a pair of scumbag parents, now you tell me that my biological parents are actually another pair of scumbags. Su Hexiang. Jinli. Well, from a factual point of view, there seems to be no problem with this sentence. So, what are you planning now? Do you still want to continue to investigate? Yu Manluo looked at Su Hexiang. Su Hexiang pursed her lips, and finally nodded, yes, I still want to confirm who my real parents are. Okay, Yu Manluo nodded, I can help you. Su Hexiang was stunned, what? Yu Manluo said bluntly, I said, I can help you get that woman's personal belongings, and you can use them for a paternity test. After that, whether you want to recognize relatives or do other things is up to me, it doesn't matter. Su Hexiang asked suspiciously, then what do you want to help me? Yu Manluo said lightly, it's very simple, you are not allowed to tell the Bai family couple about me. Su Hexiang was surprised, don't you want to make sure if they are your biological parents? Yu Manluo sneered, isn't it, what's important? She stood up and twirled slightly, the dark skirt flew up, like a gorgeous flower blooming. She raised her lips and smiled at the two of them, her posture free and easy. I'm living a very easy life now, what kind of parents do I need to trouble me? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 480. Suhexiang looked at Yumanluo for a while. Finally she said, I thought I had already lived a very clear life, but only after seeing you did I realize that I was still far behind. Yumanluo put away her smile, and said lightly, if you have to pay the price like me to live, I'd rather not have it. Suhexiang, I'm sorry. Yumanluo glanced at her and smiled again, it's okay, you're fine like this. Jinli looked at her without blinking. Yumanluo seemed to like her very much, she asked with a smile, why are you looking at me like this? Jinli once again showed her upright character, you look good, I like you very much. Yumanluo covered her mouth and her waist trembled when she laughed, what a coincidence, I like you too. For a person like her who has fallen into the abyss and been redeemed, no matter how much she pretends, she will never regain her previous innocence. Of course, she also disdains the innocence that was abandoned by her own hands. But this does not prevent her, when she sees this kind of person who is as comfortable and happy as the warm sun, she feels fond of him. At this time, the door was pushed open from the outside. A man walks in from outside. He didn't seem to expect that there was someone in the room, and he was taken aback for a moment before walking over. Both Jinli and Suhexiang looked up at him, he was too tall. At least over 1.9 meters tall, with a strong figure. Not the kind of fat and strong, but muscular, full of strength. He looks fierce, not that he is ugly, on the contrary, in terms of facial features alone, he is quite handsome, but he feels very oppressive. There is a scar on the forehead, which adds to the hostility of the facial features that are already full of evil spirit. He walked to Yumanluo's side. The slender Yumanluo stood next to him, and it was appropriate to use a non-derogatory word to describe it, Beauty and the Beast. Manman. When the ferocious man called the woman beside him, his tone was unexpectedly soft. He leaned over and kissed her forehead, and in return he hummed I didn't shave today in disgust, then turned to look at Jinli and the two of them. That's right, with such two beauties standing here, he has been here for so long, yet he hasn't even glanced at them. When his eyes touched Jinli and Suhexiang, there was a flash of surprise in his eyes, but that was all. Who are you guys? What can you do with Manman? He asked warily. He was sure that Yumanluo didn't know these two people before. Jinli was rarely looked at like this. She glanced at him, then at Yumanluo, and exclaimed, Manman, your partner, he really likes you. She heard someone call her Manman, and then she called her like that. The man was a little upset at first, but after hearing all of her words, his eyebrows relaxed. It seemed that Jinli's words really liked him. Yumanluo couldn't help laughing again. As if she had lost her bones, she leaned back into the man's arms, which was the most reliable harbor she could rely on in her life. How can you tell? Jinli pointed to herself, I'm so pretty, but he hasn't looked at me since he entered the door. Jinli muttered, if I didn't like you so much, how could it be? Yumanluo smiled happily. Seeing her like this, the man knew that she liked the girl in front of him, and his eyes softened a lot when he looked at Jinli. Hi, my name is Fan Sheng. He greeted Jinli. Jinli was shocked, until now, there are still people who don't know Xiaoxianyu. 8 more complete. Ah dears, shall we see you in the early morning? 3. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 481. She looked at the man's strange eyes and fell into deep thought. Fan Sheng. He looked at LuckyProtagonist strangely, and the expression in his eyes was, "What do you mean by this, friend?" LuckyProtagonist. She said, "How do I know?" She called Jinli. Jinli came back to her senses and said, "Ah, hello, I'm Jinli." Fan Sheng muttered, "This name sounds familiar, ah." His eyes suddenly brightened. "I remembered, aren't you the goddess my brothers talk about every day? So you are a big star." His personality was different from Jinli's imagination. According to LuckyProtagonist's story, Jinli thought that the man who pulled her out of the mud and taught her to grow up was a black-bellied and cruel boss. But the big man in front of him looked like a delinquent youth. It's still the kind that ordinary people would want to deter when they see it on the road. It has absolutely nothing to do with people with deep scheming minds. But people were never judged by appearances, so Jinli didn't struggle anymore. Fan Sheng greeted Su Hexiang again. He recognized Su Hexiang. It's not for nothing that he has acted in various themes after debuting for so many years. Su Hexiang's popularity is at least at the national level. Seeing a couple of lovers together, who obviously had something to discuss, Jinli and Su Hexiang looked at each other. Now that the reason for coming has been settled, it's time to leave. LuckyProtagonist probably really had something to do and didn't keep anyone. After leaving each other's contact information, together with Fan Sheng, they personally sent the two out of the house. Of course, Jinli did not forget the signature he promised earlier. Amidst the envious screams of his colleagues, the little brother felt that he had indeed reached the pinnacle of his life. And another little brother who has become a salted fish, after watching this scene, suddenly felt that he had evolved from a salted fish to a pickled fish, sour, vegetable and redundant. On the way back, both of them were a little silent. After a long time, Su Hexiang sighed, "The result of this trip really surprised me. No matter the couple at home, or LuckyProtagonist." Jinli was silent. Speaking of LuckyProtagonist, Su Hexiang's tone was full of appreciation. "It's the first time I've seen such a woman. Insolent, lazy, casual, sober, femininity engraved in the bone, amazingly beautiful. She seems to always understand what she wants and what is most important to her. This kind of sobriety is terrifying, and it is also admirable." Jinli was still silent. Su Hexiang finally realized something was wrong. She looked sideways at Jinli. "Jinli? Jinli? What are you thinking?" Jinli let out an ah and came back to her senses. "Huh? What's wrong?" Su Hexiang. She was helpless. "I said, what are you thinking? You are so fascinated. I have been talking to you for a long time." Speaking of this, Jinli's expression darkened again. She sighed and said very seriously, "I'm thinking about my career and my future plans." Su Hexiang. It's not that she wants to tear things down, Jinli, she really doesn't seem like someone who would think about such things. "Why did you think of this all of a sudden?" Su Hexiang was at a loss. Was this stimulated by something? Jinli's face was serious. "That Fan Sheng today, he doesn't even know me." She couldn't help but took out the small mirror and looked herself up and down, still in disbelief. "There are still people who don't know me."